Madam, today is a very special day. We have launched the election campaign for the European Parliament, the only elected institution among the all European institutions. So, what are the accents one should make as a citizen on these days?
Well, as you rightly pointed out, we are the only directly elected European institution. That means that we are empowered by the European citizens. So I would like to address the European citizens and ask them to empower the European Parliament by participating massively in the next European elections, because by using this power, using their right to vote, they can not only define the majorities in the House, but they can actually give direction to the Europe of tomorrow. This institution is an institution that, besides being a strong legislator, has the willingness, and I think that this is something that we have proven, to fight and incorporate in its decisions the willingness of European citizens. So taking into consideration that we are in a globalized world and that we are faced with global challenges, and the current crisis that hits more severely some member states, some countries than others, but has put a challenge the whole European project. We should never forget that this crisis, apart its national dimensions, is above all a crisis due to the global financial crisis that erupted in 2008. So, global challenges, it's impossible to be dealt efficiently and effectively in the small level of national borders. Our only chance to deal efficiently and effectively with these problems is with getting more unity. Unity doesn't mean that we have to be all the same, but unity means that we prioritize what we have in common, and I think that in Europe, European citizens have much more in common than things that divide them.
Do you think there is any viable alternative to Europe today? Because I ask you this question because there's a lot of frustration that people think that Europe could do better, that it can deliver more. But is there any alternative to Europe? Is there any alternative to Eurozone? Is any alternative to assembling the efforts?
No. I'm saying that there is some truth that we could better, we could do better. There is always a margin of doing better, and the Parliament has criticized several decisions taken during these last 3 years for delays, for fragmentation, to give you an example. But clearly there is no alternative. And for the convinced Europeans, there was not alternative even before the crisis, because Europe was the only way to be able to defend efficiently the interests of people of Europe. But I think if this was right, true, one time before the crisis, it must be 100% realized now with the crisis, with the consequences of the crisis. There is absolutely no alternative. It's through further integration, but integration which is accountable to people, to European citizens, permanently accountable, not once every 5 years. A Europe which takes on board sincerely, honestly and efficiently what the citizens' aspirations are, what the citizens are saying. So this is the Europe that we need to build, for which we want to be engaged, to work for. And I'm saying that, again, this passes very much from the willingness, from the hands, and from the decisions that European citizens will make. And I really hope that they will make the right decisions. The first, undoubtedly right decision is to participate and make a choice then, by choosing a political family, a political group, for the Europe that they dream for tomorrow.
Dreaming about Europe.
Dreaming and loving Europe, I would say.
Dreaming and
we
loving
need to
Europe.
put some emotion in this project.
But everything evaluates, so did Europe. What is new in this election in comparison to the previous election? What do you feel that you have more influence on human fates, on human destinies? What is new about these elections?
Well, I'm saying firstly that we have more influence than it is perceived sometimes from the European citizens. We have strong influence in decisions that affect directly the everyday life of the European citizens, being a strong legislator. So this is one power, our legislative power. Secondly, we have given a lot of battles to increase transparency and democratic legitimacy during these last years, because the democratic deficit clearly has deteriorated due to the crisis and to the way decisions were taken during the crisis. And third, yes, there are new powers. There are powers that are provided in the Lisbon Treaty, so they will be exercised for the first time in the elections of May 2014, and that is that the citizens, the voters, this time by participating to the elections, they don't only define the majorities in the House, but they influence directly the election of the new head of the European Commission that the major European political parties are supposed to announce in the beginning of the next year.
What are the dangers of being non-active?
Well, if we are non-active, and being non-active means that you don't use your power, you don't use your vote, you don't speak out about your concerns, about your priorities, then someone else will do it in your place. It's as simple as that. So I think if we don't want that other people are making decisions in our own place, that means that we have to assume the responsibility for ourselves and for our future. And this can only happen through participation in all different levels. Without participation, nothing changes, and at least nothing changes to the right direction.
Thank you very much.
I thank you very much also.